Good morning, everybody. I will just briefly talk about some of the things we do in regard to esports at QUT, and in particular in the School of Exercise and Nutrition Science. So Dylan, who was supervised for his PhD, already sort of outlined some of the things we do in terms of what determines performance within esports. I supervise another PhD student called Michael Trotter, and he is also investigating aspects to performance, and in particular in relation to what we call self-regulatory skills. So we see, or we look at how these skills might either develop to playing esports, but also how they might determine success within esports itself. To that end, we have been looking at particular adolescents. Esports is quite popular in that population, so we're looking if esport might help in developing these self-regulatory skills, and how they might relate to performance. Some other study is done by Craig McNulty. I think he's online somewhere as well. And Craig has been looking at the physical demands of actually playing esports. I suppose there's a lot of people outside in the wide world who think that playing esports probably is people who sit behind a screen all day long, are overweight and eat unhealthy. But actually playing esports, I reckon, it's quite demanding, and we have done Craig has done a study looking at heart rate during practice and during actually competition games, and so it's one of the few studies of doing that, and actually the heart rate goes up quite dramatically when people play in competition. So it seems to be quite some physical demands there as well, and that probably relates to the military as well, where there's also a lot of stress, so it also might increase heart rate, and you probably then have to establish what is due to stress, what is actually the physical amounts of playing itself. One of the interesting issues is like, how do you actually get better in playing esports? We know from lots of physical sports that just playing the sport is uncorrelated with development of expertise or level of achievement. So somebody, like I say, a tennis player or a golfer, doesn't get better by playing a lot of matches or playing a lot of rounds of golf. So how do you actually learn or become a better esports player? And this is probably quite an important question. And so what kind of learning designs do you invoke to actually do that? And what do coaches actually do? What kind of instructions do they provide? What kind of feedback do they provide? And there's very little research on this at the moment. We just got the ethical clearance for a study actually looking at coaching behavior within esports and what it entails at the moment. And it's probably up to date that we're unaware of anybody looking at it so far. But that would also have consequences for army research and the use of technology in that sphere. So how we improve actually in performance. I hope to have another PhD student starting early next year looking at how teams actually function, how we can create team flow. And we're particularly interested in looking at brain activity and how we can, for example, synchronize brain activity and make people perform at a higher level. Or is actually synchronization of people's brain associated with higher levels of performance in playing games? Actually, we wouldn't know that, but it's an interesting question to look at, and looking more at a cognitive neuroscience perspective for this. And one of the last things we'd be interested in is actually using esport as a vehicle to enhance physical activity behavior, and particularly in adolescents and children. And that's probably a different kind of issue altogether, but I think as a societal issue, obesity is a problem, and video gaming has been perceived as a problem, but I think we can actually use esports to show that you have to be fit and well to actually perform esports at the highest level. So maybe you can use this as an example for increasing physical activity behavior in children and adolescents as well. That's it for me for the time being.